Hey guys, welcome to Novo Nation, where we travel the world and learn from different action sport and combat sport athletes. Today we get a chance to talk with Jordan Meehan, fresh off his first win at UFC 158. Let's go talk with him. All right, man, let's start from the beginning. Where are you from and that good stuff?
Yeah, born and raised in Lethbridge, Alberta. Went to school here, raised here, and yeah, I love Lethbridge.
You know, there's a bunch of questions we have, for Jordan Meehan now in the UFC, just fresh off a win with your first match in the UFC, and preparing for UFC on Fox 7, which is going to be crazy. But when did you get started? When did you really get into mixed martial arts? At what age?
Well, I was a huge Bruce Lee fan. I watched his videos like religiously.
No way,
yeah.
Really? That's awesome.
And then I was also a wrestling fan, so I was always, around like just seeing entertainment and seeing like, on TV, watching it like, oh, this is so cool, these people are doing this for a living.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee on movies, he's a big movie star, and then obviously wrestling, on cable or whatever, but I think I started from that and being so addicted to watching those, and then my dad, he got me into martial arts. We started with Kempo karate and jiu-jitsu and whatnot, and my uncle came back from California and he learned some karate there, and so we kind of just started doing it in his basement. My dad started teaching in his basement, so I was like 3 or 4 when all this was going down.
Oh, hey, okay.
So I've been kind of growing up throughout the gym as the gym's been growing, and now it's grown into a big thing, bigger and better thing. So I've been doing martial arts since and also competing since I was 5, 6.
Really?
Yeah.
So competing since you're 5 or 6. Would your dad just enroll you in some different events and you just show up and have a good time?
Definitely.
Is that kind of what happened?
We would travel to Edmonton. We would go to tournaments there, point sparring tournaments they were called. So there wasn't too much contact, which was good. You're 5 or 6, you don't want to get too crazy, but just being around that atmosphere and competing against other kids I think was super important for me.
Okay, so since a young age you've been involved. You love the Bruce Lee movies, you love that stuff. When you started to get older, you were still competing. At what point did you think, I want this to be my career, and I want to fight for a living? Well,
my dad was having shows at the Roadhouse at the time. It was a local bar here in Lethbridge, and I think it was like Rumble in the Cage is what the show is called, and it was like Rumble 2. And it was like in a ring. They had the ropes tied up to like the dance floor. It was pretty ghetto, but
the very beginning stages.
Yeah, exactly. So I was competing then, but then I think I was around 15 when I really realized that I could make this a dream and make this what I can do as a living. And I think I fought a guy that night at the Roadhouse in the Rumble, and after the fight my mom was in the back and I was like, I'm gonna do this for my job, this is what I'm gonna do, and she's like, yeah, do it. And 15 years old and your mom and your dad are supporting what you're gonna do, it only helps.
No kidding. So how has that support been? Because I know a lot of people who want to go and do their own thing, and it's tough. Without that support, it's really difficult. So has that been a huge help for you as you've kind of climbed the ranks to get to to get closer to your goal?
It definitely has. My entire family has, supported me. Everybody, even at the gym is my family, and they've all supported me. And growing up through the gym, I think, is a big help. And and just seeing different fighters even make it to the UFC or make it to a big stage. So I think I can follow in their footsteps, and then do my own thing, and now I'm there, and I think I'm gonna achieve great things, and I'm doing my best. I can't really predict the future, obviously, but sure. I'm trying, and I'm loving it.
So now take us through. You got to fight with Strikeforce, so you're in the Strikeforce card. Zuffa had bought Strikeforce, and it was just a matter of time before you got to be in the UFC. So that was your goal for the longest time. What were your feelings when you finally got to step on that stage at UFC?
It was pretty intense right from weigh-ins. To fight in Montreal, you know, my first fight in front of a bunch of, you know, Canadian fans that go crazy, a bunch of my, you know, friends and family. And I mean, weigh-ins are crazy. There's a ton of people that go in for that. That's an event in itself. And then the next day to fight. And then when I stepped into the octagon and like 20,000 people are staring at you going crazy, it was just like, this is wicked.
Just amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we were there. I was there and we were front row for the weigh-ins. And it looked like after you weighed in, when you were waiting for Miller to come to the stage, it looked like you just kind of took a second and took it all in, because the weigh-ins, like you said, were huge. There was a lot of your fans there, and the crowd was going crazy. What were your feelings at that point? Was it kind of surreal?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could hear all my buddies chanting "Young Gun," which they always do when they come on the road and go crazy, which helps. You know, it's just support around the world, which is awesome. I love that they're there. And yeah, it was surreal. It was a pretty crazy experience.
So after you started the fight, you know, everyone was really pumped. You were in the cage. It looked like Miller got a pretty deep armbar. You know, and for a lot of people in the crowd, they thought, hey, maybe this is it. You know, maybe it's not going to be that long of a fight. But you defended it and got out. You know, walk us through that process.
Yeah. It wasn't, I've been asked this before, and it wasn't really like I was thinking about escaping the armbar. It's just after repetitions of doing it, you know, and grappling so many times, it just kind of happens, and you just kind of do it. Which luckily enough, I've done the escape enough times where I could get out, and it kind of sucked because my arm was so stretched out. It's kind of like there's the beginning, there's the middle, and there's the end of the technique. And preferably you defend it at the beginning of the technique. And I waited till the very end of the technique until my arm was completely stretched out. And then I escaped, which, I mean, luckily he didn't have control of my thumb, which I was able to turn my thumb. And then the technique's called hitchhiking. Right. So you hitchhike out, you roll, and then, you know, you just got to watch out for a triangle choke. He can switch from armbar to triangle, so I just had to be careful of that.
Now, since I've started grappling, and I'm still relatively new to grappling, that's what I've learned is the hitchhiker. You know, if you can point your thumb towards the guy's, is just his head, and then just roll.
Yeah, so you just point your thumb, and then you walk towards, walk that way as well, and then you're hopefully out. But I mean, you can still crank it off the side of his leg if he wants. But yeah, he didn't.
So you got out of it, you got up, you looked fairly confident, you walked away like, okay, that's over. After that point, had everything kind of settled down? Did you think, okay, now I'm ready to go, this is my fight?
Not necessarily, because it was just kind of all still happening. It wasn't like he got up and we're still basically in the fight, you know what I mean? Just because we separated, we break up for a minute, I'm still kind of focused and I'm still like in the moment of the fight. So once we stood back up, and then I think I dropped him with a left straight, and I saw that he was hurt, and I seen, you know, I was gonna go in for the finish, but I didn't. I stayed back a little bit, and I waited, and then I let him get to his feet, and then I hurt him again against the cage, and then I, you know, put him down with some body punches and whatnot. But I think I never really took a moment to think about it until after I got to watch the fight and really see, oh, I was close. That was super close. So yeah, it was crazy.
That's awesome. Well, I know a lot of fans have been asking me and a lot of our guys what was going through Jordan's head. So I'm glad you answered that. Now that the sport's getting so popular, there's a lot of young kids that want to be involved. You know, for all these young kids who might, at the age of 15, like you, think this is what I want to do. What type of advice would you give them, you know, to really get on the right track to maybe one day be on a huge stage like the UFC?
I would say compete as much as you possibly can. It's about getting out of your comfort zone, you know, traveling and going to other gyms and competing against, you know, those guys. You know, staying in your home gym is good, and you gotta have a good home base. But going and traveling and competing, you know, in little tiny tournaments that no one ever hears about. It's not even on the internet. No one really cares about these tournaments, but it's important to get that time in, competing against, you know, different styles, because everybody that you face has, you know, a different angle that they throw at you. So I'd say competing and repetition, doing techniques and doing anything that you're training for over and over and over again until it's, you know, second nature.
Awesome. Well, what I want to do, since we have you here, part of Novo Nation is me or other people involved with Novo Watch getting involved in the sport. You You know, everything that we really market to, we're involved in. You know, excluding maybe base jumping and wingsuit flying like Johnny. You know, but I want to hit pads with you.
Wicked.
You know, and maybe even you can show us how that whole armbar and how the hitchhiker works for people who haven't done mixed martial arts before. It might be kind of fun. And then after that, we can kind of finish up.
Wicked. What do they call it? Armchair body. Okay, so jab, kick, hook straight. Nice. Okay, so the reason why I think I got out is because the control of my thumb. If he were to be holding even my hand and my thumb and not letting me turn my hand like this, then I wouldn't be able to escape. So if you turn my thumb actually this way, I can't, and then broke it off of your leg that way. So if you pulled my thumb that way and then broke it that way, then I'd be tapping. But because I can turn my thumb this way, it allows me to walk my body all the way around and then get on top like this.
Now, so how did he have your arm?
He had it just like you had it there. So if you were to have turned my thumb this way, so turn this way, I wouldn't be able to walk. It's breaking my arm right now, so I can't walk out that way. So it's all about my wrist and my thumb here. So if you have control of my thumb, I'm stuck right now. But so he had my arm, but he didn't have control of my thumb. So now I can turn my thumb, turn it down, which is called hitchhiking, run my legs out, and then back on top.
That's awesome. Well, hey, listen, Jordan, congrats on your achievement so far. It's with 23 years old, over 30 professional fights. It's awesome. You know, it's really fun to watch. You have very exciting fights. With your first win at UFC 158, now looking forward to Matt Brown at UFC on Fox 7. We're super stoked for it. So thanks for coming along. Thanks for letting us talk with you.
Yeah, thank you for all the support. You know, without you guys, and you know, I'm achieving a lot of goals, and you guys are right there with me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot.